During World War II, there were peace protesters in America that came out to the streets with signs that said, "Why bomb Hitler? Hitler didn't hurt us." They were against the Allies attacking Nazi Germany and Nazi Europe in an attempt to liberate the Jewish people from the concentration camps and from the Holocaust. Why intervene in a war that doesn't have anything to do with them? Never mind that it had everything to do with everyone, because Hitler had the aspiration to take over the world. He started with Germany, then Europe, and definitely had plans for the rest. But they don't know that, or they pretend not to know that. Who knows? Either way, it's irrelevant because their claim was untrue. And they based itself on the premise of, we shouldn't fight, we want peace. We shouldn't break international laws by attacking another sovereign country with things that don't have anything to do with us. I see that as very similar, if not the same, to people today who have an issue with attacking the dictator of Venezuela and liberating Venezuelan people from his dictatorship for the past 25 years. Millions of Venezuelans had to flee Venezuela because of his oppression, and millions of them are now celebrating in the streets for their liberation. Now, I'm not comparing what was going on with Venezuela to the Holocaust, of course, but there is a level of horridness to the experience of the Venezuelan people that they are now liberated from it because America intervened and took down a terrible, terrible man, which is what the Allies did for the Jewish people and for the world in retrospect in World War II. And, liberating Venezuela also benefits the U.S. and the free world in other ways vicariously, because Venezuela was very supportive of terrorism that has affected and hurt other countries, the U.S. included. So saving others also saves us. Now, when it comes to due to the dry law, the laws are meant to uphold justice. And sometimes they're lagging behind. Sometimes they need to catch up with the truth of morality and justice. Need I remind you, there was a very long period of time that it was legal to own a slave. Now, this is still legal in many countries across the Middle East, unfortunately, but here in the West, we have abolished slavery after it was legal for a long time to own a slave. Would you have liked it if there was no civil war to liberate Black Americans from slavery just because it was legal at the time to own a slave and we should go by the legalities? I also find it very interesting that the people who tend to have an issue with Trump taking down Maduro are the same supposedly for the sovereignty of Venezuela, and it doesn't matter that we don't agree with them, it's theirs to do, and it's not ours to just invade a sovereign country and take down their leaders. These are the same people that supported the Palestinians invading Israel on October 7th, not to take down a dictator and liberate Israelis. No. To murder 1,200 human beings, innocent people, Israelis, for being Jewish, and literally kidnapping, not a dictator to liberate Israelis. No. 250 men, women, children, elderly, babies that they've tortured, raped, and murdered in underground tunnels in Gaza. So the same people who are against taking down Maduro and liberating the Venezuelans for supposed sovereignty are the people who were pro-infiltrating, going into the sovereign country of Israel by the Palestinians, not to take down a dictator, but to take down innocent lives for being Jewish. And it's the same people that protested for peace and against war from liberating the Jewish people during the Holocaust. There's something especially insidious about using the dry law and supposed, selective outrage when it comes to going against liberating a people, but being pro-murdering innocent Jewish people and not defending them from their oppressor. It's something demonic. And if you are one of those people, you need to take a close look in the mirror. Now, maybe you know exactly about your own hypocrisy and you're aware of it and you're doing it full conscientiously, and you'll rot in the hell that you create for yourself. But if you're not aware, and this is total ignorance, need I remind you that the dry law does not care about you not being aware of the law. So this applies to karma. Just because you're not aware of what you're doing, maybe you won't get as bad as a verdict, but you will still get a bad verdict when it comes to accountability for your actions and your immorality. Stop using the dry law to excuse your hate, your political bigotry, your anti-Semitism, and stop preaching to other people about their own liberation or their own lived experience. If you're not Venezuelan, don't preach to Venezuelans about what it is that they're supposed to be feeling right now. And if you're not Israeli, don't preach to Israelis what it is that we're supposed to be feeling. If you're not a native to a land and to a people, if you're not a part of them, it's your job to listen, not to preach.